Hello, welcome to a quick video or a video tutorial, not quick, sorry. I'm going to show you how I created this. I was recently asked if I could create 4 baby books, 2 brag books, and 2 larger books. I'm going to share with you the larger books as well, but I did not create a tutorial for them. But I did do a tutorial. I'm going to do a tutorial for this one, and I want to share that with you. But first, the point of this, to me, a brag book is something that you want to just be able to throw in your purse and have to pull out to share pictures of your baby, or for the grandparents brag book. So my goal in creating this was to have something that was fairly thin, but that housed a lot of pictures, and also I wanted to keep it pretty simple on the cover and on the inside because I wanted to be able to throw this in the purse and not worry about flowers coming off and everything. So all I did is the pattern paper that I used, Simple Stories Hello Baby. It has these Project Life type cards, cut apart cards, and I just used this one as the cover, and I took in it's probably not going to show up, but I did the flowers with a Wink of Stella brush so that they would be a little, there you can see some of the sparkle, they're sparkly, in order to create, just to add a little something that was sparkly or, pretty to the album. I also went around the edge of the pink paper with that too. And then the only thing that I did to this cover is I used this piece of elastic crocheted ribbon to hold the book. Because it is so thin, it's going to pop open and it's going to get thicker as you add pictures to it. And so I knew I needed a piece of something to hold it closed, and so I went with this. I really liked this elastic crocheted ribbon, and it is I bought it at Hobby Lobby, but it's just elastic ribbon, and I really liked it. So, and I thought it went well with the papers. Anyways, let's see how this opens. This can hold about 26 pictures, and they're all 4x6, so there's no cropping. It's just easy pasting them in here. So it opens up like this, and you can put photos here and here, and you can also, this is sized to, the album size is 4.5 by 7 because I made it a little bit longer. I don't know. Here you can see it kind of extends. I left some extra room because I want to put tabs on the inside. But you could make it a little bit smaller if you wanted it to be even a little bit easier. If you don't want to put the pattern paper on, then size your papers to be 6.25 by 4.25, and then you won't have to put the pattern paper on. So it could be even a little bit thinner and also a little bit smaller too. You take about a 1/2 inch off of the sides. Anyways, this is how it opens up. You have your first page, and then this is going to pull down like this. Or you can have the option that it just flips down like that, and you can put the photo, you fill up all those pages with photographs. And if you really want to, I did not do this, but if you really want to add even more photographs, you can fill up the top part too. But I didn't make that an option for this book. Anyways, and then you turn the page, and over here, oops, this does the same thing, just pulls down, or you can just flip down if you don't have the room to pull it all the way down. And then same thing for the last page. I gave it 3 pages. You could give it as many pages as you wanted, really. But like I said, I was trying to keep it thin and a little bit more manageable. So this is really very easy to create. I'm going to show you how I made it. Okay. So we're going to start off by creating the pages. They're quite easy. For however many pages you want, you're going to need, it's easier if you determine how many pages you want first. Okay? But for each page, and what I'm calling a page is this part right here is one page. So the whole pull down, that's all one page. Okay? So this one has 3 pages, and that's what we're going to create for this new one too. For each page that you want, you're going to need 3 pieces of paper that are 9.5 by 6.5. So I have 3 pages, so I've got 9 pieces of paper ready to go. Okay. So these are 9.5 by 6.5. We'll start with those. I've got my scoreboard here. I've got my 9.5 by 6.5 sheets of paper. I'm going to score it at 4.5 and at 9. And I'm just going to go through and do that to all of my pages. It's a nice, simple, easy score. 4.5 and 9. And you're going to do it for 3 times for each page. So this here is one page. 4.5 and 9. 4.5 and 9. And there's another page. And then 4.5, 9. 4.5, 9. 4.5 and 9. And once again, these are 9.5 by 6.5. And I scored it at 4.5 and 9. And that's all you need to do for the scoring of those pages. Okay, we'll set those aside. Next, you're going to need one of these per page that you have. So, and these are 4.5 by 7.5. And we're going to score it at 6.5 and 6 3/4. Okay, so you need one for each page that you have. 6.5 and 6 3/4. And 6.5 and 6 3/4, one for each page. Okay, so we did 3 of those. Then you're also going to need some chipboard, 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 6.5, and then 1 piece that is 4.5 by however long your spine is. Mine is just over 3/4 of an inch. And I'll show you how to determine that. That's based on how many pages you have. Alright, so that's all the trimming and cutting that you need. Let's start off with putting our pages together so you see how easy they go. So you're going to start with your first set of 3, and you're just going to crease your folds. For the first 2, you're going to crease both of your score marks. And then for the last one, you're just going to crease your first score mark. And then you're going to remove this piece. Okay, fine. Alright. Okay. Then you're going to take your first one here. You're going to apply your adhesive to the flap. I just put it right on this little 1/2-inch flap that's there. And then I'm going to take the next one that still has the flap, and I'm going to put them together as best I can to line them up nice and neat. It's kind of important that this end up straight. And then, so now I've got this so far. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over, and I've got another flap on the back now. I'm going to put my adhesive on there, and then I'm going to take my last one that I cut the tab off of, and it's open like this. The fold is towards the bottom. I'm going to stick them together, and then you can see it opens just like that. This is the part that will be adhered to the page base. Okay. So now we've got that. Now we can take this one, crease the scores that you put in there, just like that. Okay. Then you're going to take your page bottom, and it's going to just adhere right in there. What you want to make sure that you have it so that both ends are towards the top. Okay? That's the important part. Just make sure that both ends are up, and then you're going to take your adhesive. Again, my ends are up. Here's one end. Here's another end. My ends are up. I'm going to take them, and I just slide my accordion right into the edge there, and then press it in really well. Pretty simple. Right there. Okay. Then we take our next page. We're going to take the next set of 3, and you're going to fold, whoops, fold them all up. Okay. Last one. Then I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm going to trim the tab off of this one. Okay. And then I'm going to take and put adhesive on my tab here. Take this one. The tab is to the back. Line them up. Nice and neat around the edges. And same for the top and bottom, which I didn't do here. There we go. A little bit of pressure. Turn it over. Put some adhesive on this flap again. Then take your last one. Whoa. What is happening to the color there? There we go. Sorry about that. Must have touched the mouse there or something. Okay, now I'm lining them up just like that. Adhere them down again. And then both of my ends here are my ends. Both of my ends are to the top. Okay. Alrighty. Then we take another page here, score these. Just like that. Then we take our page, making sure that we have our end. Okay, when you open it up, your two ends should be on the top. Okay. Slide it in there. And then attach it, and then you'll see it opens up like that. Okay, set that one aside, and let's go ahead and do our last one really quick. You can see with a little bit of prep, you could make quite a few of these really quickly. Okay, I'm just going to take and trim off this tab again. Alright, then I'm going to take adhesive to that flap. Take this one, make sure the flap is in the back again. Line them up. Adhesive adhered together now. A little bit of adhesive on the back of that one. Take the last page and stick them together. And then you've got your flaps to the top. Take your last base that you made here. Okay. Make sure you've got it right. Then we're going to go ahead and adhere this piece ends up. Okay. There we've got that done. So then what's going to happen is we're going to put some adhesive along this flap here. Okay. Take your next one and line them up. Try to get them as straight as possible on the edges. Then come back here. Lots of pressure. Okay. Now we're going to turn this over. And I'm going to put adhesive on this flap again. And then I'm going to take the front page. Try to make sure that they are lined up. Just like that. Okay. Now you can, here, you can determine if you'd like to have a cover piece. I put a cover piece on mine. I just put this little piece on to cover, and it's an extra flap, it's an extra spot for pictures, and I liked the way that it kind of finished it off rather than just leaving this opened. So what you're going to do for that piece then is You're just going to take another piece. This is 4.5, and it should be by 6.5. And mine's not quite cut yet. This is 7.5, so I need to cut it down to 6.5. Okay. Then I'm going to apply my adhesive here, here, and there. And then right along the edge of that. And of course, I ran out. Hopefully I can finish this off with just one more because I only have one more roll of adhesive. I have gone through 6 boxes of this adhesive for all of these albums. And this is the last one that I have, and I really want to finish up tonight. Okay. Run this on there. Never seems to be when I'm filming, I run out of adhesive. Okay. Let's go ahead. Run a bit of adhesive along there. And okay, I'm just going to line this up right with the edge of my book here. There we go. Okay. So essentially, you have the base of your book done. If you didn't want to add chipboard, you could end it here if you wanted to have like a soft covered book. I, however, want to get it a little bit harder so it's a little more protected in a purse or whatnot. So I'm going to take my chipboard, and I'm just using lightweight chipboard for this. It's thinner, doesn't need to be too thick. I'm going to take 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, and I forgot, I'm going to cut them down first. You can fast forward through this part if you want to, because if you've already watched any of my other book making videos, mini album videos, you have seen how I cover a mini album. If you have not, then you may want to watch this. Okay? So I've got 2 pieces I've cut down now. I'm going to put a strip of adhesive. I'm just going to run just one length there, and I'm going to overlap these. And whenever I do this, I always like to make, if possible, sometimes it's not possible, but I always like to make this my seam then, because then I can hide it. It's really easy to hide that on, not my seam. I like to make that my center and where I put my spine, because it's really easy to hide then. Put a little charm dangle on it. You can put just a little flower, whatever. You could do all sorts of things just to jazz it up a little bit. Leave yourself a gap. Always leave a gap. Helps the book close better, helps the paper not crack. Just helps it look a little bit nicer. Okay. Little gap. There we go. Then, for this part, I'm going to go ahead and use, this is a foam, a foam matting here. I'm just running along the edges of the book with my bone folder, and this just helps it to look nicer. If you don't have a foam mat like this, you could use a mouse pad, or you can just do this on a straight surface as well. It just helps to create a more finished closure, I guess. Okay. I'm just gonna trim off my corners here, like so. Then I'm gonna turn this over. Now on this side it's just a glass mat. I actually got this at Tuesday Mornings too, and it was designed for this slice, but I really like it for having a glass mat on my surface. It works really good for watercoloring, for all sorts of things, because this is really easy to clean up. It makes for a nice little mat there, I guess. Okay. I'm just folding in my corners to make them look a little bit nicer. Okay. And last little bit. Whoops. Okay. Fold it up really well. And the bottom side. Okay. Part of the reason I'm using my bone folder to help fold this up is because I'm not using a very heavyweight chipboard, and so it's tending to bend a little bit more than when I use a heavyweight chipboard. So I'm using this to get right along the edge. Okay, then I'm going to run. I like to square off my edges. So I just run the bottom side of my bone folder right along those edges and get a nicer finish. Now you can see we have a very lovely cover. Okay, next step, I need to put a little piece of paper there just to hide the edges. So I'm just going to trim this to just under 4.5. And I'm just going to trim it down a little bit because I don't need it to be so wide either. I'm going to run adhesive on both edges and then also around all of the edges of this piece of paper. I want a nice good stick. So I put adhesive on all sides of my on this side of my gap, on this side of my gap, this side of my gap, this side of my gap. And then I put an extra strip in my center because you really want to make sure this piece is stuck down. It's an important piece. And then I like to push in with my bone folder while I'm folding it up. Okay. Now we are coming along nicely. Okay, next, all we have to do is insert our actual book into our cover. For this part, I like to use this kind of adhesive because I don't have, if I wanted to use my tape runner, I'd have to get a surface for it to be flat, and I can't do that now. So I just like to use a little roll. I don't normally use these types of stuff unless I need them for my book making. There we go. And I'm just going to pull both sides up because I need to put another piece there. And I don't want to have to try to fight with this. And I don't want to put anything over the release paper. This essentially helps to make sure you want the whole spine covered with paper or covered with adhesive. Come on. There we go. Okay, now this part is the hardest part. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you get it lined up evenly. I like to kind of stick it right up to the edge and just not really press down, but just kind of stick it, and then I can make sure that I have the same amount here as I have on both sides. And then once I'm done with that, then I can lay it down, use my bone folder, and ensure that I have a really good stick. Okay, so here you have your book finished. Did I tell you the size of the chipboard? Apparently I lied because this chipboard is still by 7. So if you want yours to not have the extra space, then cut yours to the size that I told you, 4.5 by 6.5. If you want your chipboard to have the extra space, then cut it to 4.5 by 7. Okay? And then from here, all you have left to do is the decorating. And that is the easy part. Cut your pattern paper. I pre-cut all of my pattern paper, so it's ready to go. You cut your pattern paper to 4.25 by 6.25, and then that will give you 1/4 of an inch all the way around. No, that will give you 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So you'll see the pattern paper. Like I said, if you want to make yours smaller, or if you don't want to do the pattern paper, you could leave that part out too. I had it, so I decided that I was just going to go ahead and use it. And now I have 2 mini albums. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as I can. Otherwise, I will see you on my next video.